Soldiers are chasing after a girl deep into the woods. However, they caution about rumors that in this area lies a terrifying demon lord. Charlotte Evans continues to run until she sees a mansion before her. However, she trips and passes out. The next day, Alan Crawford finds her and picks her up. He believes she is running away from abduction because he can tell those knights nearby as they attack him. Despite realizing he is the demon lord, they tell him to hand over this criminal and they will spare his life. He won't, so they attack him again, but his spell freezes them. His hypnosis has them reveal everything before sending them off. Once they regain consciousness, they will have no recollections of what happened. Back home, Alan sees the newspaper. Definitely Charlotte fits the description of a wicked woman gone missing. When she comes to, he further talks about her status as the fiancé to the second prince of Nara's kingdom. Charlotte is in disbelief that nobody believes her, but Alan does. He can tell if a person is lying through their eyes. This brings Charlotte to tears since he is the first person who believes her. She further reveals she is from a noble family and has been betrothed to Prince Cecil for years. During a party, he called her out to announce that she was guilty of some treason and had her locked up. Alan deduces she was clearly framed. Either the prince doesn't want to marry her anymore or there might be another woman. As Charlotte feels unwanted, Alan wants to hire her to do his house chores. He also mentions his past, where he was betrayed. He joined a group for adventure, but after undoing a seal, they deserted him and stole the treasure. Charlotte's pity proves she is a very pure and innocent girl. This is when Alan puts a death curse on himself that if she doesn't help him, he will die in 3 minutes. Quick decide. And so that is how she was blackmailed to work for him. Charlotte splendidly cleans his house, and to Alan, this proves nobility is just her name, and she is more of a servant of the house. He tells her to do what she likes since she is done. Well, she had nothing to do but count the grains on the wood. This prompts Alan to ask if she has a hobby. She has none. Her little sister, Natalia, gave her some fruit. And to think Alan's fun days at magic school were to cause disturbances with his questions and explosive spells. Alan has decided he will give Charlotte a crash course in naughtiness. He buys lots of stuff to begin her first lesson. Charlotte reminds him they shouldn't do bad things, but he assures him they won't do anything illegal. So the stuff he bought her for her first naughty lesson are sweets and cakes. This is going to be her dinner. If she resists, he will put a death curse on himself again. As she takes her first bite, it brings her to tears. Nobody has been this kind to her. Is she entitled to be this happy? This is only the beginning. Because Alan is going to let her experience a lot of happy things till she is the happiest person in the world till she is bored of it. And she doesn't have to return the favor. Think of it as going along with this hobby of his. Charlotte will eat the sweets, but wants him to eat with her too. Because it's better to always eat with someone. Alan notices Charlotte continuing to clean happily. This means she does not even talk or view ill of those who framed her. If this happens to him, he will no doubt crush them all. This could mean she has very low self-esteem and, deep down, still fears them. Alan is shocked when Maicha Bastidos comes into contact with Charlotte. Maicha works for a delivery company and often delivers goods he buys. Maicha finds Charlotte familiar. Thankfully, she is dumb enough, and whatever the circumstances of customers are is their business. Besides, Nara's is out of their service area. Anyway, Maicha is here to deliver the potion bottles since he sells them to make a living. We learn Alan lives by himself here since he hates crowds. Also, he has a scary face, and that's how he earned the nickname of Demon Lord. He recounts one night, naughty kids wanted to check out his mansion to see if the Demon Lord's rumors were true. They got more than they bargained for when they trespassed on his land and saw his scary face. And that's how the word spread. Alan also has Charlotte order anything she likes. Otherwise, he'll order everything from the catalog. Maicha doesn't want Alan to bully Charlotte, so she hints at letting it out sometimes. If it were her, Maicha would throw her cat punches. But this gives Alan the next naughty hint. Next time Maicha delivers his order, it turns out to be a punching bag. So the naughty thing he wants her to do is to let out her stress and punch it. He even puts Cecil's face on it. However, Charlotte's reaction is still meek despite Alan telling her to let out all her anger. The thing is, she isn't even angry. This stumps Alan because she has been treated like dirt and even thrown out of her home. How is she not angry? Charlotte always remains thankful to her family for taking care of her no matter what. Alan realizes the scars in her heart are too deep. He isn't patient enough to let time heal it. Even if she lashes out, she will continue to blame herself. Thus, he wants her to punch him. Since she still won't, he uses his magic to force his hand to punch his face. He tells her he can abuse him all she likes, and he will never abandon her. After all, she is free to do whatever she wants, and he will be by her side. He uses magic to heal himself. Nothing to fear. But since he got hurt, she gets mad at him for doing something reckless. As she has him promise not to do such reckless things, she promises to open up. It might take time, but he'll be there for her. Maicha has been watching this and gets the wrong idea that they're into each other, so she starts suggesting getting stuff that a baby needs. This has both Alan and Charlotte stumped. Aruka finally finds Alan. She is his sister. More accurately, his stepsister. Alan's real parents died a long time ago, and the Crawfords took him in. As Aruka notices Charlotte, Alan reveals the truth about her. She'll find out sooner or later. When Alan explains her circumstances and what they've done so far, Aruka isn't pleased. After all, it looks like he has been forcing her to do naughty things against her will. He should have done things that girls would enjoy. Aruka's initial mission was to bring him home, but now she doesn't want to do it anymore and wants to stay here and also teach Charlotte naughty stuff. This leads to a competition to see who can teach her the naughtiest stuff. In town, Alan uses her magic to change hair color. Though he prefers her original blonde, Aruka wonders if he is trying to score some points. First up, they take her to shop for clothes. As Charlotte tries out some clothes, Alan wants Aruka to do some spying on the current state of Naras and how Charlotte is treated. However, he will hold off information about Cecil because if he knows the truth, he won't hold back and storm the damn kingdom. When Aruka helps Charlotte zip her back, she sees something awful. Then she shows it to Alan. Those hideous scars over her back. Enough to make her mad. He cannot believe the kind of hate directed towards her. Hence, he has decided to change his mind. He is going to exterminate them. As they continue this fight to buy her stuff, Alan's poor taste has him choose lame things. The siblings are about to fight, so Charlotte stops them. Fighting is not naughty. It's just bad. They promise not to do it again. As Alan buys Charlotte a hair accessory, some punks bump into her and blame her. This doesn't sit well with Alan, but remembering Charlotte's words, he avoids any confrontation and apologizes. He even offers to pay. However, they want Charlotte's body. This is when he snaps and beats out of them. As the crowd cheers on him, Alan then apologizes to Charlotte for breaking his promise. However, she doesn't hate him and knows he was protecting her. This brings a huge relief to him because he thought she would hate and leave him. Aruka is watching these notes. She has lost the competition. It isn't over yet as those punks' boss shows up for some payback. Alan recognizes this guy as Megath. When Alan reveals who he is, suddenly Megath is overcome with fear as he prostrates himself and begs for mercy. As explained, his father is the chairman of the country's largest magic academy. Alan became the youngest graduate at 12 and then became a teacher. It is from there that he also earned the Demon Lord nickname. Megath has his goons know their place. While Alan is okay with that, he cannot forgive for causing trouble to someone. But he is stumped as he wonders about his relationship with Charlotte, a woman who is important to him. Back home, it seems Alan is depressed. Not because of what he said. Apparently Charlotte has a wish to go to town again, but alone. Although she retracted it, a confused Alan, who didn't want her to do that, eventually allowed her. Aruka and Maicha have a simple solution: tail her in the shadows. Despite having a map, Charlotte gets lost. This fears the stalkers since she is entering a dangerous turf run by the gang Serpent Fang, and their leader is Grow. Not wanting to ruin her first adventure, Alan has an idea. When Charlotte enters the turf, Grow and his men surround her, but suddenly they welcome her. Previously, Alan went ahead to beat up all those guys and warn them to treat Charlotte nice. Charlotte notices their injuries and even offers potions to heal them. The guys are so touched they even promise to mend their ways. As they ask about her relationship with Alan, she thinks hard and views him as her master. She also notes that he is a kind man. So kind, he taught her a lot of naughty stuff, and they even do some all night long. As Charlotte moves on, the stalkers notice she will be entering even more dangerous turfs. Once the coast is clear, they stop spying and allow Charlotte to do whatever shopping. Later, when they meet up, she brings the hair accessory owner along. She thanks Alan for beating up those gangs because they have been a nuisance. While Alan remains humble, she still appreciates his help. Charlotte has bought gifts for Aruka and Maicha. Why none for Alan? She doesn't know what he wants, despite the fact that he always cared for her. He has to point out that anything from her would have made him happy. For now, she can help fix his broken clothes and hopes he can tell her what he likes so she can get them next time. Charlotte hints at wanting to take a trip, though she notes spending time with him here she likes best. After all, doing naughty things once in a while is great, but not every day. This is Alan thinking that his goal in this naughtiness thingy is not to corrupt her, but to let her experience the joy she never had. Such great timing as Maicha is here to grant them tickets to a seaside resort. As they take a carriage there, we see Aruka and Maicha tailing from a distance. On the pretense that Aruka will start her Nara's investigation, it was just a ploy because she was the one who got those tickets, and these busybodies are going to witness how they'll take their relationship to the next level. It seems there are places Charlotte wants to go as a child, but she couldn't say. Alan understands and will not pry further and will listen whenever she feels she wants to tell him. He will go wherever he wants. Upon arrival at the resort, the duo is shocked that they have this lover's package. The staff thinks they're married. They visit the open-air bath as the staff takes Charlotte away to rent a swimsuit. They have fun throughout the day as the busybody continues to watch. At the end of the day, relaxing at the hot spring with a great view of the sunset. The naughty thing they do: eat ice cream in a hot spring. With his magic to make ice cream not melt fast, this has other customers wanting to do the same. With sales tripled, the staff is grateful and recommends a few sightseeing spots. One of them is a hill where Fenrir reside, but since it is their breeding season, they aren't around. Hence the zoo is suggested, and it seems Charlotte shows interest. As they retire to their bedroom, obviously a single bed, the busybodies are eavesdropping in the next room and hope something juicy will happen. They sleep on the same bed and find it hard to fall asleep. Alan casts a sleeping spell on her, but when he realizes he is looking at her physical attributes and skin, he casts a wider sleeping spell on himself, effectively putting those busybodies to sleep too. Next morning, Charlotte wakes up and is happy she got to talk to her late mom in her dream. Alan is glad because he too was in that dream and promises to protect Charlotte. Now they are visiting the nearby zoo. Alan uses his magic to speak to some animals and bribes them to let Charlotte pet them. But that won't be necessary, as Charlotte is naturally attracting all of them. So much so that the animals are scorning at Alan for staying away from their goddess. Later, Alan talks to Charlotte about her hidden talents as a magical creature tamer. While Alan can only do so on lower-ranked animals, really talented ones can tame creatures like Fenrir. Soon a staff member seeks help from them as she believes they are tamers. The zoo's director is glad to see them and knows the Crawfords. He shows them a wounded Fenrir cub they've captured. It is angry and won't allow them to treat it. Alan tries to talk to it, but it won't listen and remains agitated. Alan lets us know that Fenrir are rare and protected species. Harming one gets you prison time. But since its fur and bones are good magical equipment, this has not stopped poachers. Worse, this cub's mother has located them and is on her way. Knowing that no matter what they do, they look like its abductors, Alan will go talk to the mother. As Charlotte wishes to help by talking to the cub, Alan gives the green light. Not too long ago, she was like a doll who listened to every word he said. Now she is able to fight back on her own. Maicha and Aruka may be chilling, but their holiday is over as Alan confronts them. He knows they've been following him and will put them to work. Alan may be able to deal with the smaller cub siblings, but the huge mother is a tough nut. She is not willing to listen to him and continues her relentless attack. This is when a talking capybara named Ghostsu pops up. He knows about Charlotte. He snuck out of a zoo and wandered till he stumbled upon Charlotte. However, Alan showed up to rescue her. Ghostsu then learned what happened and continued to observe her, realizing that in order to protect her, he must eliminate Alan. Ghost-Su is not impressed that he is corrupting her instead of saving her. Ghost-Su's plan is to destroy Naros. Do you think that will make her happy? Ghost-Su calls him naive because that nation is the cause of her pain, and she will reduce it to ashes. He is the one who told the Fenrir that they took their cub. Charlotte arrives with other animals, and it seems this cub is now healed and tamed. Alan is amazed at her talents, which took him half a year to master. She translates the cub, telling its mother that Ghost-Su told them Alan is a poacher. Now all the Fenrir turn against Ghost-Su, but the capybara remains adamant for Charlotte to come to his side since he will only bring her more misfortune. Charlotte dismisses that and corrects him that Alan gave her a place where she could finally live. She will not forgive him for speaking ill of Alan. Now Ghost-Su resorts to taking her by force. Alan fights and defeats him, seeing Ghost-Su's method will only cause her more pain and that teaching her naughty stuff is his privilege. Ghost-Su gives up thinking their love for each other is strong. Before they leave the resort, Maicha and Aruka have returned and captured the real poachers. Since they are unrepentant, Alan puts some defense magic on them and lets the Fenrir rip them as much as they want. As they leave for home, it seems the Fenrir cub wants to join them. Since Mama gives her blessing and Charlotte would love to have this little doggy, Alan thinks it is a good thing to have more family members. But it looks like they will have another family member inviting himself to join, Ghost-Su. The Fenrir is named Lu and is now spending more time with Charlotte. Ghost-Su mocks Alan, saying that now he has less time to teach naughty things to her. True, but he is glad she has a goal now. Since Charlotte has an affinity for tamer magic, Alan teaches her. She has improved so much to the level where she can now do beast conversations. She puts the spell on Lu, and now Lu can speak. Though Lu still hates Alan for some reason. If you're wondering why Ghost-Su has been speaking like normal since his debut, he claims he has lived long enough and self-taught himself the human language. To celebrate Charlotte's success, Alan creates an outdoor bath. He discriminates against capybaras. Only humans and Fenrir allowed. In that case, Ghost-Su uses a magic spell to turn him into a smoking hot girl. As they take a break, Charlotte is curious about the mansion's previous owner. Alan is unsure of that since the previous owner, who is an elf, disappeared 30 years ago. The elf committed suicide from failed experiments, but Alan bought it at a much cheaper price. Charlotte is starting to get scared, thinking this place is haunted. Actually, there are mushrooms popping up all over the outdoor bath now. Suddenly, a dark elf pops out from the basement and warns them not to steal her mushrooms. When she realizes the situation, she introduces herself as Dorothea Grimm Wallenstein. She is the previous owner and has not realized she has been hiding for 30 years. Alan realizes the legal implications since the owner is still around as well as there are no other places for Charlotte to stay. He wants to buy the mansion from her. She easily sold to them. However, she doesn't need money. She needs help. Seeing Charlotte wants to help, Dorothea is ecstatic. Or would you rather leave the mansion? So now we listen to Dorothea's backstory. She was a famous author, writing many genres and winning many accolades. But one day she was tackling a romance genre and got stumped. A writer's block. When the deadline came, she had not even written a single word. Fearing her scary editor, she ran and hid in the basement until today. Thus, you can see where this is going when she hints at Alan and Charlotte as her new material. If you're too dumb like them to guess, to make it short and sweet, she wants them to play a lovey-dovey couple for her romance novel. Alan and Charlotte in a romantic play. Dorothea is the director, cutting things that don't go like her script. Like how Alan uses magic to carry Charlotte to avoid touching her. Each time Alan wants to call it quit, the mansion ownership is a useful threat. Alan thinks Charlotte is also tired of this charade. Apparently she doesn't mind doing it with him. And so he suckers it up for the long acting ride. Next up, they have to act like newlyweds. Charlotte's natural cuteness is killing him. Thanks to that, his reaction goes off script many times. The next scenario casts the pets as high school delinquents, as Alan must save Charlotte from them. Alan might have overdone it, as his magic gives them a good whack. Alan is confused with this next romantic line because it mirrors somewhat in real life. What is Charlotte to him? He thinks back on all the things they've done together and finds excuse that this is just acting. Hence the twisted logic. He isn't telling her how he feels. But he still ad-libs and says he is her guardian. The next scene is the Cinderella story. Charlotte as the titular character, feeling close to home. Anyway, the highlight is the dance scene since it is hinted Charlotte isn't acting but enjoying this. Everyone praises Charlotte's perfect acting, but none for poor Alan. But instead of the glass slipper scene, Alan gives back her lost hair accessory. Once again, they're acting or really putting out their confused feelings for each other. Before the crucial moment, the wall explodes. It's Dorothea's editor. You can't hide from him. He never thought she would still be hiding here and wasted 30 years of his life. She set up a super magic barrier that no one could even detect. Now she has to face the music as he takes her back. He pays for whatever damages and leaves. Dorothea pleads for help since she will be drowned. That would be too lenient. He is going to throw her into the volcano. But Alan and Charlotte can't rest, yet as Aruka suddenly pops up. It seems Natalia is in trouble. Flashback shows after Charlotte's mom died, the Evans took her in. Everyone, including the maids, treated Charlotte badly, although she tolerated them all. The only exception was Natalia, as she wanted to become friends with her stepsister. Now we see them on a ship, but not to Neres, but to the Magic Academy. This whole island belongs to the school like a mini kingdom. It seems Natalia is studying here, but Aruka wants to bring them to see their parents first, something Charlotte panics over. They need to greet them properly. It is Alan that Aruka is worried. 3 years ago, Alan quit everything and left the island. En route to doing that, he fought with his dad in an epic magic battle for 3 days and nights. They left a huge crater on the other side of the island, and it's a sightseeing spot now. Shortly, they see a fight among students breaking out. A handsome guy easily defeats both sides. He is Alan's stepdad, Harvey. Back home, Harvey is glad Alan brought home his girlfriend. Alan wants to refute that, but with hints from Aruka, he believes she has prepared something for this. So he also hints to Charlotte to play along. Charlotte introduces herself as Alan's girlfriend and the one who taught her many naughty things. Harvey isn't surprised seeing Aruka has already told all about her. He hopes they can even marry and settle then, and then think of that offer. He wants Alan to take over his position as the headmaster of this academy. Of course, Alan still refuses it. While that title brings honor, Alan doesn't want the baggage that comes with it. What baggage? See this cute little girl? That's not Alan's other sister. It's his stepmother, Liselot. Harvey wants to retire so he can get lovey-dovey with his wife and perhaps get Alan another step-sibling. Enough of the embarrassing stuff. What about Natalia? It seems the Evans are in turmoil, so sending Natalia abroad to study is just a cover-up till things blow over. It has been 3 months since she is here. Since she was using a fake identity, they didn't know until recently. And then there are factions in school fighting. How are they related? They show footage of Natalia being surrounded by gang members. She beats them up for bringing the wrong bread. While Harvey respects the students' freedom, he doesn't want to use force. Hence Alan is called since he was a troublemaker, and what better than it takes one to know one. He hopes he can talk to her since Natalia is going a bit aboard, though she still treats her lackeys with respect and kindness. Before Charlotte starts blaming herself if she is the cause of Natalia going bad, Alan agrees to talk to her to stop her misbehaving. Even if this encounter might be painful for Charlotte, she still wants to see Natalia, as she is her only happy memory in that household. She will regret it if she runs away. Liselot has prepared rooms for them to stay, and they'll share a bed. It's only natural as they are lovers, or are they lying? Because Mama hates liars, and who knows what she'll do to them. No time to argue about this since Charlotte is tired and needs to wake up early tomorrow. Now they can't sleep. Alan tries to use his sleeping magic, but it does not work. Aruka has learned from the last time and has spent a lot on this bed that has a magic nullifier. She is eavesdropping on the next room and hoping they'll get humping. So as they awkwardly talk, Charlotte asks what he was going to say to her during Dorothea's scenes. Alan is fretting over it and starts thinking about the kind of answer he should give and the things he wants to do with her. They aren't naughty, by the way. Similarly, Charlotte feels she has no right to such since she is still a wanted person. Both conclude this goes beyond naughty, so they just ended it there and went to bed. Aruka is not happy that nothing happens. She wants to do something about it, but Liselot tells them to be quiet. The next day, Alan and Charlotte, Disguised as his assistant, Charlo, go to see Natalia, who of course gets defensive. Alan wants to be her private instructor, but she declines and leaves. Charlotte is so happy she could talk to Natalia that she is in tears. This sends the wrong signal that Sensei just made her assistant cry. Alan sees her correct a teacher's formula in class. Since she is such a genius, Alan suggests Natalia help teach Charlotte some magic. She sees no reason to decline. During lunch, the pets visit. This surprises everyone because they are very friendly with Charlotte. This stumps Natalia because if she is this talented, why need her help? Of course, Charlotte credits the pets as amazing themselves, and she has nothing to do with it. She is further stumped since Charlotte even cares about what she eats. Why care so much for her? As Alan puts it, she has a sister her same age, so Natalia reminds her of her. This has Natalia wondering if the Evans sent Alan, but he assures them they didn't. He deduces she is studying magic to be free from them. Partly. They might be nobles in name, but a horrible family. When he tries to bring up Charlotte's name, Natalia shuts him down. Don't ever say that name. Soon, a cocky rival of another faction, Chris, comes here to warn Natalia about beating up his lackeys. She tells him off. They weren't even a challenge, and if he wants to fight, make an appointment. When a few of his guys bump into Charlotte and are unapologetic, Natalia immediately beats them up. Forget about an appointment. She'll beat their ass right now. Alan stops her since the cafeteria is no place for a fight. Natalia is not amused since it's like he doesn't care for Charlotte. Of course he does. He teleports all to another dimension as he teaches the few rules to Natalia about fighting. Alan easily defeats all of Chris' goons and ties them all up. He is about to dump the biggest and nastiest fireball as a lesson to not mess with them again until Charlotte nullifies it. Alan and Natalia both get lectured by Charlotte. She is happy they got angry on her behalf, but this is too much. Beyond naughty, and just like that, this spat is over, and we're back to happy people. Alan notes this is all part of Charlotte's growth because now she can use a spell against him when she couldn't hit a punching bag before. Alan has also done some study on Natalia's background. Apparently she took in outcasts as her lackeys, and of course some resented that. She mentions she just wants to hone her skills, and to do that, people like Chris are her convenient targets. Now that Alan knows her problem, he has a suggestion. She must conquer this academy and become its ruler. Natalia is learning diligently from Alan on how to reign supreme. Not sure about this dungeon showdown. We don't get to see it. But once again, Natalia wipes Chris, but all over the floor. Ghost Sue and Lou train Natalia's weaknesses to be stronger. Natalia hates salad, but eats them all out of concern for Charlotte. Natalia is eager to teach Charlotte her magic and can start tomorrow morning. That night, when they carry Natalia back to her dorm to sleep, they notice a bag that looks important to her. It is imbued with magic so touching it may trigger traps. The gang stays and watches her sleep all night, perhaps to note how precious the bag is since she cuddles it while sleeping. Next morning, Charlotte wakes up early for her promised lesson. With Charlotte improving a lot, this reminds Natalia of her old times. She wants to show Charlotte her bag, but looks like it is missing. Chris is believed to be the perpetrator, as he left a letter challenging her if she wants her bag back. If that is what he wants, so be it. She hopes Charlotte will not tell Alan. However, it is her lackeys who do so since Natalia has not shown up in class. Even Charlotte has gone missing. One of Chris' lackeys turned up to seek Alan's help. He confirms Chris summoned Natalia to the Forbidden Dungeon for a challenge and slipped that letter last night. He further reveals Chris was a genius until Natalia came along. She bested everything he did, and obviously his pride will not stand for that. He vowed to beat her no matter what it took. Alan will head to the dungeon himself and has Ghost Sue tell Harvey just in case. The rest will be on standby. Chris and Natalia have a showdown in the dungeon. He drops her back down the abyss and challenges whoever retrieves it first to win. Obviously Natalia wins again, but now a chimera shows up. This is the dungeon's boss. Chris is so scared he runs. But they are trapped and can only hide. Chris tries to take responsibility to fight it, but it backfires, and he gets knocked out. Luckily Charlotte is here to save the day and gives some breathing space as her magic scares the chimera away. Charlotte is worried about Natalia. Even if she is strong, she is still a child. Natalia is still confused about why she cares so much about her, but Charlotte cannot say she is her sister. Alan enters the dungeon, hoping Salamander has not awakened from its laying period. As Natalia notes about her big sister, she claims that criminal status is all a lie to frame her. But what she hates most is herself, who failed to protect her sister and how the family cut ties with her instead. She has always regretted not being able to help her, and that's why she wanted to study magic so when she grows up, she'll help her. After that incident, Charlotte's stuff was all thrown out. The only thing left Natalia salvaged was this bag that belongs to her. Since it has her magic, she hopes to use some detection magic to locate her. However, she knows a creep is holding her hostage and is jamming her detection. Once she finds him, she'll beat out of him. Chris overheard the whole thing and is now in tears, ashamed of himself for doing such trivial matters. Good thing he has repented, but now a big problem is at hand. Salamander is here. Charlotte tells Chris to take Natalia away while she stays and distracts the beast. When Salamander fires, the blast affects Charlotte, and this dispels her disguise. Natalia is confused. Her sister is here. Thankfully, Alan came to the rescue. Nothing is madder than a demon lord who sees his beloved hurt. After a single knockdown, Salamander starts being docile and loving Alan. Salamander is actually Alan's pet, whom he raised from a young age. Outside, Chris repents of his actions and will accept any punishment. Natalia and Charlotte have their moment of reunion. Charlotte apologizes for the deception, but Natalia is glad to see her sister again. Because inside the bag is a favorite book that Charlotte often reads to her. Time for a great emotional sisterly hug. But now Natalia's anger turns to Alan, as she believes he is the creep who prevented her from finding her sister. Lyslot is disappointed they're not dating, but as Aruka puts it, they truly love each other. For now, they can only watch over them until they are ready to tell each other their feelings.